Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hello,
It's
friend.
Hello.
WUFO. Week 20.
Hey, yo, I am awake for once. Yay!
Yay! I know
Boy,
that Shell said if they're still awake, they would be joining. So that's exciting
it'll be
too.
fun.
We got a lot of the late nighters here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, big night tonight, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been prepping for it. It seems like to me, like half of the day, I've been looking for things and
Yeah.
reading, and I can't wait for everyone to find out what we're doing, what we're up to.
I know, right? If they don't know already.
Sure. Well, I do want to like give the quick spiel. We do
Oh, yeah.
have some new people joining us. They posted about it on Twitter and things, so that's very exciting. So for those who are joining us for the first time, this is Wednesday night UFO Watch. What that is about 20 weeks ago, it all started with a tweet about John Keel, and we found out through our friend Maitland, who does our Stargazing side quests, that John Keel basically had a bunch of data pointing to Wednesdays at 10 p.m. your local time being the most likely chance that you have of seeing any sort of like UFO phenomenon in the sky. So we kind of took with that and ran with it. And over the course of these 20 weeks, things have just snowballed to where we are now. And this is like the live contact session. So for us, it's about 8:30 p.m. We do this until 10 p.m. and then we collectively go outside and look up. But if you're just joining us and you're on a different time zone, no problem. Do it at 10 o'clock your time. But here, our main agenda is to try to reach out to aerial entities at large. And we call those live contact sessions. And you're joining us right now.
And
We're
if
happy
you're
to have you.
new here, we call it aerial entities because we would be just as happy talking to like a bird or a dragonfly or some wind, like any of that. Fine. Doesn't
Yeah.
have
When I was laughing because I was thinking about my interview I did with some other spheres, and it came out. And I think Garrett mentioned that he was listening to it today. When I said that, there was like dead silence, and I was like, "I'll laugh for the both of us." So I just hysterically cracked up, and he was like, "Sure, sure." I don't think he's heard that one before, you guys.
Awesome.
Oh goodness. So yeah, I think we got the spiel down. Thanks so much for joining us. We have a lot of friends in the comments. We got a couple new faces. Hello, this is a little more mellow than normal. We've been doing the guests quite often. We've had guests on and we've been promoting their work and whatnot and having them join us. Courtney, I agree with you completely. I can't believe that it's been 20 weeks either. When you look back and think, oh, we started this in January. That's June now, you guys.
That's bizarre.
It really just started like, let's go outside and like look up at the sky,
Yeah.
And now it's like all these people around the world are doing it. So it's
Yeah.
amazing. And people are like,
your image is totally frozen for me. Just
oh, really?
Oh, and now you just like.
I saw it too, Jeremy.
Okay.
Hyperspeed.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Am I still doing that? Okay.
You sound and look normal to me. What do you guys think in the comments? Is Garrett normal or is he Robot Garrett?
That's a weird question to ask. Am I normal? I don't know.
Yeah, that was a loaded question. Apologies.
Yeah. I was just saying that it started with just like literally going outside that first Wednesday, and just looking into the sky. And now it's this. So that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is kind of like, I love these lives. Like they're awesome because we get to talk with cool people and we get to talk with cool entities sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe. But really the meat and potatoes still, I think, is the going outside and looking up. And Gary, you might have seen something last week, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but like last week I was doing the side quest. So every week Weird Astrology does this like side quest where you look for certain stars or constellations. And so I was looking for, I think it was Alphecca or Cornea Borealis. And so I found Arcturus first, and I was like, okay, I think that's it. There's the Big Dipper. And I came back to Arcturus, and there was a new star next to it that was really bright. I was like, whoa, I didn't notice that one before. It wasn't moving. And so I'm like, I'm gonna get the star out and like try to figure out what that is. But as I was looking at it, it just like faded away. And there was kind of like high clouds or something, but it would just went away. I don't know where it went. I did post about it on Twitter, and some people said it could be Starlink. Certain satellites will do that. And so there is a really cool app I found out about called Stellarium, I think it's called. It's a free app, and that will show you if it's Starlink. So it's pretty cool. So you can like, verify that. It will, even if you like, I saw something 3 days ago at this time of night in this part of the sky, you can go back in time and see if there was something there. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But
that's super cool.
But what's weird is that like there's a big meteor shower on Monday. And like I was watching that and I could see, oh, there's Starlink. That's pretty obviously, like using the app. Okay, I can see that. Or I could see these other satellites, and they were not behaving like the thing I saw last Wednesday. Last Wednesday was just this big glowing thing, and then it faded away. Which maybe it still could be a satellite. It doesn't act exactly the same as the other stuff. So maybe people have ideas or better knowledge about that. But it was a cool, weird. I was freaking out in the backyard, which is the best part of it all. So
I mean, it remains an actual, it's kind of cliche to say, but an unidentified flying object.
Right.
Definitely. It was really fun getting those texts too.
Yeah. I think that's weird.
I saw something. It was the best. I'm tweeting now that we're live. So just if you haven't already, we're gonna boost it here. Night Sky X is also free and tells you about Starlink. Awesome. That's super useful. When I was watching the meteor shower the other night, it was very obvious to me which was which. The meteors were like, a couple of them actually made me jump because I thought they were explosions for a second. Like they were very bright, very quick, and then there would be another one that was kind of slower. And then there would be like another big one. And they were projecting to have about 1,000 per hour, which is wild because normal meteor showers you would expect on like a really good one about 20. This is just from my personal experience, but yeah, so it was really cool to like kind of stick my head out the window and see all this stuff happening. But I was at the Bigfoot beach and there was this dude in this white van by himself, and he was like digging around, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna park over here in the dark in my black car. I like watched this guy, watched him, but it was really great. Oh my goodness. So every single week too with WUFO, we direct folks to a specific cause. Sometimes they're near and dear to our guest heart, and then sometimes it's based off of current circumstances. Yeah, this week we'll be raising funds for Real Rent Duwamish. I know that Jeremy is a huge advocate for them. So would you mind explaining what their donations will go to?
Yeah, basically, so the Duwamish tribe is the tribe that's indigenous to this area, Seattle in particular. They're a Salish-speaking tribe, and they've been here, for thousands and thousands of years, and we're on their land. I mean, we basically stole it. So I try and kind of think about hold them in my personal presence whenever I can. Just as a let me start over. It's important to be able to honor and acknowledge the people who lived on this land before it was stolen by the colonists. They are a smaller tribe and don't even have federal recognition right now, which is ridiculous.
They
So
did for a period of time, right? And then they got taken away.
yeah, they get it taken away, which is ridiculous that they
How does
even
that?
federal recognition. But
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's infuriating.
but they have a program called Real Rent, and it allows people, anyone who is so inclined, to pay rent to the tribe for the land that they're on. And you know, obviously, it's mostly symbolic, but at the same time, it's a really cool way to show support for and to honor and acknowledge the indigenous community here in this area in the Pacific Northwest. I'm pretty sure there are other sort of real rent similar tribal kind of you know, you can look in your area and see if there are any tribes who are offering another similar program to that. But here it's just it's a way to even if it is kind of I'm going to say a token, but even if it is kind of like it's too small. I mean, there's no way you can really ever make up for what happens to native people here during and after the colonization. But this is one way to do it, and the money goes to the tribe and just helps them in their continuing efforts to gain recognition and just survive here with their traditional way of life. So yeah, real rent, do Amish. You can do a one-time thing. You can do a monthly. Our family gives an amount every month, just to do something, you know.
Right. And I
Privilege
think
to do something. So
right, and that's so awesome. I do want to let people know that if they are, for any reason, unable to donate, you can sign the petition. They're currently fighting to get that federal recognition back. So you can sign that, and then they also have merch. If you've donated and you're like, I want to help more, I want to represent, they have merch. So go check out realrentdoamish.org. But we've also done a step for you. You can go directly to wufo.watch/donate, and it'll take you right there.
yeah, awesome program.
All righty.
Well, did we want to talk about anything that happened last week?
Yeah, definitely.
One thing I noticed last week, this is a weird little thing, but I was watching like old Battlestar Galactica or something. And you know, like it's Star Trek when they're like floating on a ship through space and it's like the little white dots going by. And it reminded me of the marine snow thing that happened where I was seeing that down in the deep of the ocean or whatever. I don't know why I'm bringing this up other than there was a correlation between those two things. It's like, and that seemed to be like a theme with what Adler's doing is this like life in the deep ocean and the origins of life. And then like this, you know, extraterrestrial life. And it's interesting that there's like similar imagery, whatever, of this like space snow or like marine snow. Anyways, I don't know why I read that.
Right.
It was just like something I noticed when I was watching.
I think that's great though, because it fits in with like not only our water theme, but we were under simultaneously for those who were not able to join us. We both went under for an Estes method session simultaneously, and he brings up this marine dust. I saw like something in outer space, but it was undersea. Whoop! My light just changed. That's scared me. Excuse me. That's really bright. That's not even one that's like right next to the color pink. Next would be blue. So let's like startled me, sorry. But what I was trying to say was I didn't see anything in the ocean. I was in space, but I was seeing aquatic type beings, like this bust of a humanoid with octopus eyelashes and eyelids. It was wild. And so of course we both had that undersea theme. I don't know if that's like a residual from the week before or what have you, but love that we weren't even like in the ocean necessarily, but simultaneously under, we were still experiencing ocean themed things. That's really cool. I'm gonna fix this light.
Yeah.
You know, the marine snow thing, you know what that makes me think about is the cottonwood seeds that I was seeing.
Yeah. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. You can see we just put a TikTok up. It's very short and silly. But the cottonwood trees in our area. So if you're not familiar with cottonwoods, they're native to like the this hemisphere. Like they're not native, like you don't find them in Europe or anything like that. Not naturally. I mean, there's probably some over there now, but they're these immensely tall trees, and they love water. They grow like on stream banks and river banks. That's where you'll primarily find them, and they produce this amazing balm in their buds that is sort of a natural painkiller. It's got salicylic acid, so it's the same kind of thing that you'll find in like birch bark and things like that. But this is like super ultra concentrated. And so, every January, February, after there's a big windfall, I go out and collect all these buds, and you can make this magical, this incredible resinous, odoriferous oil that you can then turn into salves or anything like that. But around this time of year, they produce these prodigious amounts of billowy, cottony seeds. I grabbed some. I'll show them in a little bit when we're talking about plant stuff. But it's just it's like walking in the snow. And yes, of course, you talk about it and everybody says, well, but they make me sneeze and cause allergies. And, that's true. Yeah. But at the same time, it's amazing to me to walk outside and have these like snow drifts of these seeds. They're actually pretty similar. They're floaty like dandelion seeds. If you're like walking outside and you like blow a dandelion, but they clump a little more. They're kind of more cottony. That's cottonwood.
And you can put them in your beard. You can put them in your beard for a beard charm.
Put them in your beard. Go to our TikTok and you'll see me trying them out as a fashion statement. But yeah, it's cool. And so it's just, and that reminded me of the marine snow, because you walk out and it's like prodigious amounts of this stuff everywhere. And I love cottonwood trees. Morel mushrooms love cottonwood trees. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Your morel.
I'm so off.
So maybe that
if you're out in the woods and you're looking for water, they're a great way to find it, because you can just like be like, oh, there's cottonwood trees. There's going to be a stream or a river or something nearby. Yeah, they're wonderful trees. I love them. And now they're snowing down upon us.
Well, I'm wondering if I didn't see marine snow in that last week's session. I was somehow being told about the coming cottonwood floaties. Yeah, maybe. Jeremy, I put this question up here. I wondered if, or Bex, maybe if either of you have thoughts on this question. UAP over UFO.
Is that just like a terminology question, or is it? So, what's your thoughts on the government coming out with the UAP over UFO? If that's in reference to terminology, yeah, I don't really care about what the government.
I just wanted to hear you guys' spicy takes. That's all.
I don't give a shit, and I don't want to have to change WUFO to WUAP. But it's nice if other people hear about it, I guess.
Yeah, no. I mean,
I'll just like choke on crackers. I don't care. Sorry,
I don't want to like dissuade anybody from being interested in it, and anybody who finds it's important. If that's your bag, then that's totally fine. It's just a little bit. I don't think it's necessarily like the same way that we are looking at it. I think it's pretty fascinating. But I also have been in this scene for long enough to know that just like they say UFO sightings come in flaps, but government involvement in UFO disclosure also comes in flaps. And like everything that's going on right now already happened, in the 50s and the 70s and the, so it's a good question. I mean, if somebody is interested in it and wants to share their opinion with us sometime on it, I would love to talk more about it with somebody who is genuinely interested in it and knowledgeable about it. Our approach is just a little different to the subject, I'd say. So, oh, hey, John Tenney's here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, hello. Before we got too deep into the WUFO, we should talk about our side quest real quick, since Madeline can't be here to say it themselves.
Yeah.
So this week, the Stargazing side quest, we have an astrologer friend who's like the co-founder of WUFO with us. Their name's Madeline Kelly. You can find them across the board at what is it? Weird astrology? Yeah.
Weird astrology.
And so every week they select something in the sky for us to kind of hone in and focus, locate, and learn a little bit about it. And slowly over time, we're familiarizing ourselves with our night sky. So this week it's Libra. Hug all your Libra friends. The Libra is a pretty small constellation that can be found by looking southeast at night. If you find I cannot pronounce these star names, you guys. You can find those and you can see these as forming the third point to a triangle with them. Use a sky map app if you need help. So check out WUFO.watch, our latest post for week 20. It explains it further, provides some photographs. But I did also want to mention that Maylin is hosting this stargazing class specifically targeted towards paranormal investigators. And they argue that this is a necessary tool for investigating. So it's going to be really exciting. I know a lot of buddies signed up, but there's still time. It's going to be on June 28th, and it's 20 buckaroos. You don't need to be present to attend either. You can join at a later date.
And we have some, we're not ready quite to do so yet, but we're going to have some slots for that class to give away.
Oh, yeah. That's exciting.
We worked that out. So
we did. Yes.
We're going to be giving away some slots to some lucky liminal friends of the map. And we'll have more details on that sometime soon.
Cool.
Cool.
Also, special thanks to Adler for joining us last week.
Oh,
I don't know if they're asleep. They're very busy with their new kitty.
Oh,
Shout
my
out to
God.
Maestro.
In the universe.
Shout out to Maestro. Adler's going to be watching the stack with it.
I know. It's so cute.
Go check out those beans if you have not already. That's Adler. Awesome. So I wanted to thank them for joining us. And then if you ever want to watch back any of our WUFO live streams, we do keep them up for a few days typically, but they are available on our Liminal Earth Patreon, our Liminal Earth Society. So if you feel inclined to catch up on past weeks, go join our Patreon. They're all there.
Absolutely. You can join it for as little as $1. What else is news? Oh, just before I forget, the first batch, the first slate of shipments of our new products are going out tomorrow. So if you ordered our Gatton Puff Magic Powder or our King Arvon Dream Salve from Liminal Mall, or if you've ordered any zines or anything like that anytime recently, I'm sending out packages for you tomorrow, and they should arrive soon. So
that's cool.
Yes. Let us know when you get them. We want to see pics.
Yeah, unboxing. Or
I can't wait till I get
I guess
mine.
Yeah.
I want to use mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's supposed to help the King Arvon Dream Salve. Is supposed to help see in the dark, or like that's the folkloric use of the fringe cup. So I've been wondering if it will help with seeing UFOs, or help in dreaming. So put it on your eyelids before you go to bed or before you look up into the sky. So I'm excited about that. See if it enhances. Or Estes method too, I think. You know, being blindfold and like seeing in the dark. So
I love that interpretation.
Yeah.
Naturally.
So are we gonna do the ritual thing? Is that what we're gonna do tonight? Like a little bit.
Let's talk it out. What do we want to do? So right now it's 8:55. On the schedule, we have continuing to kind of shoot it, maybe pull some cards until about 9 or so. So we can use that time to talk about the ritual.
5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What do you think?
I think we should give ourselves some time. I think we should. Jeremy came up with something pretty cool, and I think we should go for it.
So I'm gonna do it. Maybe I'll do it while I explain it. Maybe I'll do it.
Okay.
And do it along, or just do it whenever. I mean, there's nothing about this particular ritual that's specific to a Wednesday night. We just thought it would be kind of fun to put it together and offer it as part of WUFO. So if you haven't yet seen it, you can find the instructions on our site. Maybe we could put the link up somewhere. But it's in the main post on WUFO.watch. It's the aerial entities summoning ritual. And it's just wufo.watch/Ariel-entities-summoning-ritual. But all the instructions are there, and it would be super fun to have people give it a try too. This is an experiment, so it's based on a couple of traditions that I'm familiar with. The cunning man, cunning person folk tradition from European magical tradition. It's mainly associated with England, but it also kind of branches off throughout the Mediterranean area, and that's sort of my background culturally. So that's kind of where I land as far as like traditions that work for me. It's also incorporates theory and practice from more ancient, sort of quasi-Gnostic, Greco-Egyptian astrological and alphabetical magic theory, which it sounds complicated, but basically it's like everything has a correspondence. Letters have correspondences to the planets, and the sounds that they make have correspondences thereby as well. And you kind of can craft magical names for entities or energies if you know what the correspondences are for the letters and the sounds that they make. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Make a little bit more sense.
I want to hear you say it like multiple times fast, though.
Yeah, right. So the idea is based on a ritual that I stumbled across in the grimoire of Arthur Gauntlet, who was a 17th century British cunning man. And the grimoire, as most grimoires are, was less of like a book of spells for students to learn and more of like a journal and a notebook of like stuff that worked for this guy. And there's a lot of material in it from other older grimoires, like Agrippa. And so there's a lot of familiar stuff in it too, but there's a lot of original stuff as well. This particular one is for capturing an entity, actually capturing a spirit in a vessel of water of some kind. And
Is this the one where they use the word urinal? Is that what?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. One of the vessels that they recommend or that they suggest you could use is urinal, which meant something completely different back then.
But maybe one day you and I should go do that in the men's room and go catch it.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, why not?
Well, this grimoire says this is what we got to do.
Let's use the urinal, so that's what we're gonna do. So I took it, and it was it wasn't quite feeling right for our purposes, and so using what I know of traditions and through my past experience about what works, and also tossing in a little bit of liminal ecology, I came up with something that I think will be successful in allowing us to invite aerial entities into our vessel of UFO water. So if you're not familiar with it, one of the things we do here is we make UFO water, which basically you take water and it's like making moon water. You put it out in a container overnight, and the idea is that the UFOs that are flying over, or the aerial entities, are imbuing the water with their energies. And I saw this thing and I was like, well, what happens if we try to invite entities into our UFO water? That seems like it could be a cool way to like establish contact. Now, pardon me, here at Liminal Earth, one of our guiding principles is be nice to entities, as opposed to like people who charge into haunted houses and see demons everywhere and want to like beat up the ghosts and cast them out and stuff. We're more like, what if they're cool? Like, what if they just want to hang out? And so instead of like summoning a spirit, the original ritual is like commanding a spirit upon punishment by Jesus to, pretty standard stuff for like grimoires of the era, is like commanding the spirits in the name of, to go into this bottle. We don't want to do that. Rather than do that, our approach is like, what if we just invited them in for snacks and like to hang out? and kept feeding them snacks while they're there hanging with us. And in exchange, they can do things like help us scry, or I don't know, whatever
Your
else.
liaison for us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's sort of the basics behind like what the ritual's all about and what we wanted to do with it. Grimoires back then had no chill. It's totally true. Like we
Sorry, that got me.
it's totally true, man.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to invite them in to have some fun. So the ritual is up. It's available. You do need some basic ingredients, and I can go over this here too. So the main supply you're going to need, of course, is your UFO water. And pardon me, I'm going to have to flip back between windows here. So I got this nice bottle. I don't know what was in it originally, but it's pretty. So I thought it would be fun. And that's my UFO water. And one of the things I have in mind is, so I went out foraging recently for Enchanter's Nightshade, which is an ingredient for some of our products. And I found a bunch of starflower. And I thought starflower seems like that's like got a little UFO affinity to it, right? Stars. So I've had a starflower sitting in mine. You can't really see the flower anymore, but it's in there. Let me pop it open. So there's my UFO water. Now, it's important if you're going to do this to have UFO water that's been that's at least a week old. The reason is that if you're using tap water particularly, that allows like any of the treatment chemicals they put in it, like chlorine and all that stuff, to off gas, because that stuff can, we don't want any of that stuff in there if you're going to invite an entity in to have snacks and have fun. You don't want them like breathing chlorine, right? So it's got to be about a week old. So then the next thing that you need is, well, you've got your clean container with a lid that closes. So you want a lid that closes. You shouldn't use like an open cup or something like that. Then you want a piece of blank paper. There's this thing in the grimoire tradition, in many magical traditions actually, about using like virgin paper, virgin parchment, like virgin ink. A lot of the old instructions for that are like slaughter a lamb and scrape the blood from the skin. I think that just means like open a new fresh pack of paper and take one out, right? Yeah. Or a new pack of pens or something like that. Like that, I think that counts. That's good enough.
Am I okay to use, so with most of my spell work, I use like slippery, like not slippery, what is it? Paper birch, or I use madrone bark.
Yeah,
would that technically be like virgin paper?
I think so. I mean, it hasn't been written on. I think
right.
That's the thing, is
it's
that
like a scroll.
Back then, paper and parchment and all that stuff was really expensive. And so a lot of times what would happen is you would buy parchment or papyrus. Ooh, look at that.
Beautiful.
A lot of times back then, you write stuff on your papyrus or your lambskin, which actually was used a lot. And then when you were done with that, you were like, oh, I'm done with this. I need to make this week's grocery list or whatever. You'd scrape the ink off of it and then rewrite on it. And you'd use that parchment or that lambskin over and over and over. And so, when they're talking about like a virgin parchment or virgin, piece of paper or whatever, I think it just means one that hasn't ever been used before, if that makes sense. Like in our modern text. So I have a piece of paper that doesn't have any writing on it from a brand new pack of paper. I think that qualifies. And again, like we're more chilled than these grimoire people were. So if all you have is some like notebook paper or something like that, then just use that. Like that's fine. This is for fun. It's experimenting. Yes. So you also need to determine which planetary entity you want to contact. And this is kind of like the most complicated part. So the 7 classical planets, and these are all of this is listed in those instructions. So you can go and look at it and you don't need to take notes or anything like that. Each of them was associated with certain correspondences. So Yeah, one way that makes sense to think about it is think about like the deity that's associated with the planet. So like Mars is like the god of war, and so Mars is associated with like energy, with offensive, not like insulting offensive, but like on the offense, but also like passion, fire. So if you have some sort of question about passion or energy or even like war or combat or interpersonal relationships, then maybe an entity from Mars or an alien from Mars is going to be the one you want to contact, right? And it's the same with all the other planets. They're fairly cut and dry. Jupiter is like government, and just Jupiter. Think of like Jupiter the god. He's like the leader of the gods. So think of like government and employment, and finances and money. The sun would be like protection and energy. Venus is like love, but also like growth. Plants are often associated with Venus. They're all there. They're all there. You just, you pick a. Oh, hi, Shell.
We were just talking about whether or not you'd make it. Yay!
So you pick a planet, and then each of those planets also has a color associated with it. Again, this is Western grimoire tradition. You might have a different tradition. That's totally fine. If my color assignment of Venus is green because of that tradition, yours might be from a different tradition and it might be yellow. That's fine. Just use yellow and say it's for Venus. That's fine. Who cares? The point that the intent is the point. So you're going to need a colored writing utensil of some kind of the color of the planets that you're going to choose. So let's see. What am I going to do tonight? I think I might do Mercury. Because Mercury is for communication, like networking, messages, intelligence. Like Mercury is like the mycelium of the gods. Like, and I think like, given that we're trying to contact and communicate with entities from planets, maybe having Mercury, an entity from Mercury, will sort of invite that in. Hi, everybody. Oh, we're getting some folks from Facebook.
Yay!
Hey, so we're talking about the ritual that we're going to be doing to try to invite an alien entity from another planet or the spirit thereof into a bottle or vessel of UFO water that we've made. And again, the instructions are all on our site. So if you're just coming in, don't sweat it. You won't miss anything. Just go to our site and you'll find the instructions there. And you can do the ritual anytime you want. So writing utensil, I've got a purple pencil because that's Mercury's color. I've also got a purple candle. And you can also just use a white candle if you don't have colored candles hanging around. But I've got my purple candle for Mercury. Now, the next step is probably the most complicated, and that is determining the name of the entity you want to contact. To do that, the instructions are on the page, the web page that I keep referencing. Blah, 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 sorry. Each in the Greek and Greco-Egyptian tradition, each vowel sound is associated with a planet. There are 7 vowels in the Greek alphabet. A is the moon. Short E is for Mercury. Long E is for Venus. I is the sun. Short O is Mars. U is Jupiter. And O is Saturn. So if you're going to communicate or attempt to communicate with a spirit or an entity from Mercury, that would be the short E. So that's what I'm going to be using to construct the name. The consonants also have correspondences. Every consonant corresponds to something, but since we're contacting aerial entities, I'm going to use the consonants that are associated with air signs. So first we have R, which is the element of air. Earth, wind, or earth, air, fire, water. That's R. Then the 3 air signs are Gemini, Libra, which is our side quest tonight, and Aquarius. And the letters or phonetic sounds are K for Gemini, or the hard sound. Libra is the X, and Aquarius is Ch. That's the ch sound. So you can put those consonants in any order to get a name. I'm going to attempt to summon an entity named Rekekseche. Rekekseche. So it's those continents with that vowel that means Mercury in there. Is this all making sense?
Okay, it looks like Maureen has a question in the
Yeah.
comments. Yeah, this is making sense now that I have the example. So
I think mine is Rakatcha. I don't know. It's all with
Well,
A's.
So you can change the continents around. And if you're
Okay.
knowledgeable about correspondences and you want to play around with the other correspondences, I have the whole chart on that page. Do you have to repeat the vowel 3 times is the question? No, so you're just creating the one name. So each a consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. So the way that you create the name, I'm going to write it down so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Mine is going to be...
Yeah, I like Chaka Raksa better. Like Chaka Khan.
So the idea is that there's this cloud or civilization of other entities that are out there that kind of float through the ether, and we can determine what their names are based on the qualities of their environments. So the planet that they're from, and then we use the air signs because aerial entities is kind of what we're looking to communicate with here. And so if 2 people happen to come up with the same name, that's fine. These entities aren't like singular spirits like we think of it. They're more like tendrils, kind of, so that one spirit could descend into multiple vessels all at once. I see it. So Kirichi. Let's see if we can see this. So this is it. So it goes consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. And if you want to, you could make you could go back to like ancient texts with like barbarous names in them. I know this is a lot of I'm getting in the weeds with magic theory here, but a lot of the ancient texts have these things called barbarous words or barbarous names, which seem like nonsense. But then when you know this method, you can look at that name and kind of figure out oh, this is referring to a Martian entity, or this is referring to an entity that is associated with Aries or fire, or it's this cool, neat. So Rokoksocho, yeah. So Maureen, you've got it. Rokoksocho. That is your entity. That is the one that you would be trying to summon, and that is an aerial entity associated with the planet of the moon, right? Wait, no, Saturn.
This reminds me of computer programming a little bit, and bytes and hexadecimal and storing things in memory and having really I don't know, something about this feels like that.
It's amazing too, and because you can fill up spreadsheets with ancient names of deities or these weird words that you find in magical spells and old grimoires, and all of a sudden they make sense. It's oh, okay, the sounds are actually telling me what I am working with here.
The code,
yeah, it is. It's totally a code. So the general idea, once you have the name, that is basically the entity that you're going to be trying to invite into your bottle of UFO water. Next, we have, so once you have your name, write it down, keep it aside. Then we're going to need, sorry, bear with me, a sweetener of some kind. This is the snack. We don't want to put salt in here, and the reasoning for that is that Joe Simonton and his pancakes that he was given by alien entities the pancakes didn't have salt. So I want to try avoid putting salt in here just in case for some reason that bothers those entities. So instead we're going with sweetener. You can use I think raw organic honey is probably the best thing to use, but you could use sugar, you could use I have. What do you have, Garrett?
I have sugar, but I also got sprinkles.
Yeah, you could use sprinkles. It has honey. I have. This is honey. It's killer bee honey. That's got to be potent, right? Like made by killer bees. It tastes really, really like strong and dense.
Aggressive.
You want a pretty substantial amount of it that you can put in your vessel. Probably like a seventh or a fifth or something, but any amount you'll probably still be okay. That's the snack that you're offering to the entity. We figure these entities probably have sweet tooths. So you put that in. Then you also want some plant material from your area. It should be something local to you. Graveyard honey. Yeah, that would be perfect. So you want something like something that is like living from your area. You don't want to just go to the grocery store and buy broccoli and use that. Although that's something we should experiment with in the future.
You gotta wear the shirt while we're doing it too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Broccoli shirt.
The idea is that this plant material will also go into the snack that you're making. I have chosen this branch of, it's like from Mugo pine that I have. Pine in particular is really good for this, especially with these little, you can see these sort of baby cones on the end. And there's this real sort of nice piney scent. It's wonderful. Pine is lovely for this kind of experiment. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in my bottle here. And then the other thing I have is this vetch. Vetch is this beautiful purple flower. It's purple. I chose. Oh, what do you have? You have Bleeding Heart, yeah?
Yeah, bleeding
I'm doing
heart.
purple too. Do hummingbird mint.
I did purple because I'm doing Mercury,
Oh.
which is the purple color. But you don't have to. Like, that's just something that I thought, like, oh gosh, that's purple. Let's do it. So I'm going to put this in there too. And then I'm going to add my sweetener. And then I have some other plant matter that I have just to give everything a little oomph. This is all optional. This is just my own practice. I have some Enchanter's Nightshade, which is like a super secret special ingredient for me. Enchanter's Nightshade is not in the Nightshade family. It's actually in the Evening Primrose family. But it's believed by some people to be the plant that was used by the magician Circe when she transformed Odysseus's men into pigs.
Pigs, yeah.
Yeah, this is like supposedly some of the stuff that she used.
Oh,
And
nice.
it grows everywhere out here. So I always put a pinch in whatever I'm doing magically because Enchanter's Nightshade, like the name alone is enough. I can be like, this has Enchanter's Nightshade in it. Be like, oh, must be good. So I'm gonna
Exactly.
and then just for fun, and because it came up lately, I got some cottonwood seeds.
Yay!
It's this nice, fluffy, delightful little cottonwood stuff here. I got a lot. I'm going to save it for stuff. So I'm just going to drop a little bit of that in there too. And then I'm going to put my sweetener in as well. And then, of course...
Oh, God, I'm pouring this all over myself.
You're using sprinkles from a cake? Like cake sprinkles?
Yeah, they're cupcake sprinkles.
I was thinking also like nerds could be fun to use.
Yeah, nerds is great.
Or pop rocks.
Ooh.
Ooh. Next time.
Next time.
Some
So I'm going to
sprinkle.
get all of this stuff in my bottle, and I'm just going to put it in. And then I want to try and agitate it, like to get it mixed up as much as I can. Pop rocks. Yes. Wild strawberries would be perfect for that. Yeah. And if it's like something that's sweet, if it's like a sweet plant, like flower or something like that, that's even better.
Mm.
So I'm going to seal this, and then I'm just going to shake it up. I want to try and dissolve as much of that sweetener as I can. I mean, this is like serious honey. Like it's like this stuff to dissolve is going to be tricky, but I'll just kind of keep shaking it and agitating it, try and get it as mixed up as I can.
Ooh, this is really purple already. It's pretty cool.
Ooh.
Are you doing Mercury too?
No, I'm doing the moon.
Oh,
Me too.
oh, you guys are doing the moon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm getting mine all agitated, and now comes the actual ritual part. So there is a diagram, and it is on that page, and that diagram was in the grimoire of Arthur Gauntlet. And so what you'll want to do is take your colored writing utensil and draw your version of the diagram that is on the page in the instructions. I'm going to just do mine really quick while I'm talking. So it's a funky little diagram, but it's very consistent with the kind of diagrams you would find in grimoires of that era and earlier.
The entire drawing, like the lines and the wiggles and the face and everything.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just drawing I'm drawing everything, and it doesn't have to be exact.
Sure.
You know, but then you have to draw, like, it's got a little face on it. And so my thought is, like, just draw a funny little face of something that you can use to picture the entity that you'll be inviting into your vessel. So it doesn't have to be an exact copy of the face that's in the diagram.
Like Vanessa's faces.
Yeah, like Vanessa's.
Absolutely.
If you were here at a previous WUFO, Vanessa used to draw faces of aliens when she was very young.
And so I am going to do this. So I'm copying all of the diagram, except since I'm doing Mercury, I'm going to put Mercury's symbol in the top of the diamond of the diagram. And I will show you, if you haven't started it, don't worry, I'm going to show you my example here in just a minute. So I'm going to put Mercury's symbol in there. You can use the standard planetary symbol for Mercury, which is like the, well, or for whatever planet you're doing. And then let's see, I'm going to do my little face for my entity that I'm going to try and summon. And I'm going to have him look a little bit like Mercury. So it's almost like, you know, summoning like a servitor or something like that.
This is so cool, Jeremy.
Thank you.
This is so awesome. He was just texting us and was like, I've been reading crazy old grimoires and I got a really good idea. And, you know, we should do something more ritualistic on WUFO. And here we are. I think it's fantastic. And I love the idea of, summoning, but not to capture, to hang out.
I mean, I've always been of the opinion, and I know that this opinion has been expressed by some other researchers as well, but that the UFO sightings that people have had that have symbols on them or entities that are from planets, saying that, you know, somebody experiencing a UFO contact from an entity that says, like, I'm from the planet Mars, is almost identical to a magician from the 16th century with a grimoire, like summoning the spirit of the intelligence of Mars. Like it's like the same thing to me. And I've always wanted to try this. So here's my little symbol. I'll show it off.
Awesome. Mine's so much smaller.
And there's my little Mercury guy. That's him. That's Seche. My little mercurial.
That's a cute name.
Guy.
Mine's Raka Cha Cha.
Yeah. So then the actual ritual part. First, I'm going to light my candle. Let me light my candle.
Excuse me.
I'm trying to do.
And what are your preferred size candles for this? Because I'm thinking, am I sealing something or am I just lighting it for the mood? Can I use
just lighting it for the candle magic?
Excuse me.
For the planetary candle magic. And, you know, people who have been doing magic for much longer than me can alter that. You know, you can inscribe the planetary sigil on your candle. You can use the wax to draw out your little sigil. I mean, there's all kinds of different variations on this that you can do. But this basic one I think should work. So, okay. So what we're gonna do now that we have the candle lit is the actual ritual. Read the actual ritual. This is like, some people don't like doing rituals in public, which I think is totally valid. Like, if somebody doesn't want to do this along with us, that's totally fine. I'm just gonna do it real quick. I'm of the kind of like folk ritual kind of, like, I don't like go for the whole ceremonial robes and big circle of protection. Like my house is already freaking a circle of protection. Like I've got St. John's wort hanging up everywhere and like salt into the corners and everything. So like that's necessary. But you know, another thing you could consider is there are certain planetary days and hours. You could look that up, and if you want to do this during the hour of Mars to invite a Martian entity into your UFO water, then you could do that. I guess what I'm getting at here is like go crazy if you're inclined to do so, but if you're not, doing just this basic should be fine.
Yep.
So I have a little ritual text, and I'm going to go ahead and just read it off. So I'll have my bottle, and I'm going to say, "Greetings, Rekekseche. I, Jeremy, wish to invite you into this vessel before me. I provided sweet snacks as an offering and request your presence within. In the names of Anthor, Acho, Persephone, Indrid Cold, Ashtar," and you can use whatever you want to there. You don't have to use those names. Those are just my personal names. "I invite you in. Let's hang out and help one another if we can. Descend from Mercury into this vessel, which has been prepared as a dwelling place for you, and dwell within it for as long as the snacks herein remain. In exchange, I ask you to help me see things that cannot be seen, know things that cannot be known, and do things which cannot be done. Acknowledge your residence herein by the subtle agitation created by your presence, Rekekseche, and depart only when the snacks have been consumed. Thanks in advance for any assistance you can provide, and let us know if you have any questions." Now I'm visualizing the entity that I've drawn on the paper slowly descending into this vessel and vanishing into the water. Now that this ritual has been accomplished, I'm going to extinguish the candle and close. If you're using a circle, close the circle. And now what I'm going to do is put this in a nice warm spot in my house with the paper and leave it and check it daily, unclogging it or taking the cap off once a day. And so, as some of you may have caught on, what we're doing here is we're actually doing fermentation. So we're inviting the entity to deliver sort of the life force to the microbes that are on the plant matter that we've taken. The wild yeasts that are around us, they're part of your environment and even on you. And we're inviting them into this vessel. And once the fermentation process starts, we should start seeing bubbles. When you see those bubbles, that's how you know you were successful at inviting the entity into your bottle. When it starts bubbling, if you're familiar with fermentation, you'll know this. Be sure that you're occasionally taking the lid off or like burping it or something, or it will blow up. So the idea is this entity remains present while the fermentation process is ongoing. When the fermentation process has completed and it stops bubbling, that's because there's no more sugar in there. And the snacks are no longer available to the entity, and it can then leave and do whatever it wants. It doesn't have to stay. Now, entities can come and go as much as they want anytime anyways, but this is an actual literal indicator that an entity is dwelling within your bottle of UFO water. And then you can do things like scry. You could just kind of keep it around and like can watch TV with you. You could use it just to, what do you call it when you have like a whisk or a broom and you whisk the area with it? You could use it for that, view that energy into your surroundings. If it doesn't start bubbling, then that means that the entity has not accepted your invitation, but there's no malice involved. It just didn't work that time. And so you can try again. And you can try changing the plant matter out, maybe use a different sweetener next time, see if that works too. If you're like the kind of person who does home fermentation, you can see how this process could be used to invite entities into like sauerkraut or sourdough bread, or if you're a home brewer, like if you're making like beer or yogurt or any of that kind of stuff, anything where you are inviting literal microbial entities in can be used as a vehicle to invite the life force in of another planetary intelligence. That's the whole ritual. That's it. And now
I'm in awe, Jeremy. It just feels like it's like the culmination of like all this random stuff we've been getting for 20 weeks. And it's just like all this stuff about like snacks. And I'm like, why do they keep wanting snacks? And all, and it just like feels like it's like, oh, and like making UFO water. Okay, we gotta do that. Making these UFO shrines, okay. And it's kind of like all of that now is this one thing. It's so cool. I'm just impressed as like a fan of yours that you came up with this. So
absolutely.
I love it.
I do want to leave the door open that this might not work for some people.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's all. That's
experiment.
Yeah.
Magic. That's the way magic works. I feel like it will. And I really hope that people will share their experiences with this process.
It really can blow up too, because I've seen you've sent me pictures of things in your fridge that you've exploded. So
yes. Things
so
that
be careful.
Yeah.
Those sling tops go a long way. I really like those too, because you can just tie like the ends with rubber bands. You can just go, you can just burp it.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, I do the full fermentation meal deal all the time here. So I have like, airlock caps on jars, vegetables and stuff. You could do all of that. This is
your entry point, y'all.
Yeah, it's just if you like this and you start getting into fermentation, like let us know, because I mean, it's awesome. It's good for you. The gut biome is really important, and I also like to point out sometimes that the gut biome, which is housed in like the second brain, which is sort of down here in your gut, that's the same location as like the energy center in most traditions that do energy work. It's more noticeable in some Eastern traditions like Zen, Tai Chi, Qigong, that kind of thing. Like the energy center is right where your microbes live. So there's a connection there. There's really totally a connection.
Awesome. So I guess the question now is, it's about 9:30. Do we want to try and reach out to these beings that we've provided refuge to, provided some sweets? We want to try to reach out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for anything. I
would love to. I think it would be fun.
Yeah.
Do we want to do it real quick? And
okay, we can do. If we do our 18-minute cycle, I think we'll still have some time to recap at the end and do the things.
Maybe.
So if we wanted, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if we wanted to do the 2 cycles of the Tenny sounds at 18 minutes, or if you wanted to do SB7 and put an 18-minute timer on, we can do our traditional part of the live session, which is going under for a Estes method session. For those of you who don't know what that is, we first came across it through Carl Pfeiffer, Michelle Tate, and Connor Randall too. And basically it uses noise canceling headphones, blindfolds, and an SB7 spirit box in theory to create the perfect environment to channel and to go into trance. It's now become a world-renowned paranormal investigation tool, and we've tweaked it a little bit. So we always want to shout out those people who made it. But we are using these binaural beats that John E.L. Tenney made. It is distributed. I think it's all over the Twitter web now if you want to find them. But we're going to listen to those. They give us some pretty intense visuals. But I wanted to explain for the newcomers like what a typical live session is for us. This will be a little bit more condensed than normal. But let's try to reach out to our entities, see if they like what we've done for them.
Yeah, see what Chalk Rock is up to.
Yes. What is mine again? I forgot mine. Rocket Church.
And if anybody is watching, while we're getting set up for that, anybody who's watching wants to know where that the alphabetical correspondences to astrological and astronomical and occult stuff comes from. It's all over antiquity, but this book in particular is probably the one that's the best summary of it. It's called the Greek Kabbalah. It's by Kieran Berry. Pretty sure it's still in print, but this book is amazing. They've got like the vowels and the planets and the consonants and the zodiac, and it's got oracles and invocations, and all based on the sort of Greco-Egyptian Mediterranean understanding of gematria and Kabbalah from the Mediterranean region. So really good stuff. I'm a big fan. Say hi to Chile, the most UFO country.
Oh, wow.
I would love to have more reports from Chile on the map.
Yes, if you...
liminal.earth/submit.
Yes, please and thank you, Hugo. That's awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wow, I'm catching up.
Yeah. Yes, questions. Yeah, raw organic honey tends to be the best. The more that you put in, the more likely it's going to be like start fermenting more quickly. I think almost more important than the sweetener is finding something from your environment that probably has wild yeast on it. Plant matter, I think, usually works the best. Green pine cones are one of the things that work best for me. Anything like the conifers really seem to, like, wild yeast really likes conifers. And I think it's because they're loaded with sugar. That sort of citric smell that you get, like conifer sap, has sugar in it. And so, yeah, that would be my recommendation. But try anything and see if it works and let it know.
Booyah. Are you guys ready?
I just saw one.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Submit. Submit. Okay.
All right. You guys are both going on there. So we're going to ask questions of the aerial entities. Going to address them to the ones that we've been trying to invite into our bottles tonight, into our glass vessel, and see what happens. We need some wild foraging fermentation videos up. Yes. There's one on TikTok. There's the one we did for 13 Liminal Nights. We have fermentation going on that. So, all right. Looks like I'm flying solo for color commentary tonight. So if anybody has any questions to ask the entities, please type them in the comments. And we'll go. Is anyone here with us? Quiet tonight.
More
what?
I heard string cheese.
More string cheese.
Coming in hot with the snacks.
We got to do it. Is Martin there? We got to know if Martin's there.
Your lips are moving. It's sufficient.
What's sufficient?
Let's share.
Are there any
Pull up a chair.
Planetary entities with us tonight? Oh, Alex Evans, I just had 2 sticks of string cheese.
There's a chair here.
Is anyone sitting in the chair?
There's been a shift change.
Rocks.
With my
Switch it.
fingers. I'm seeing a bowl of some white liquid. And there are like these
Good.
colorful drops.
Maiden and
And
Sky.
someone's like not touching it,
First.
but running their palms over, and it's like creating a picture. That's a really wild way to show someone a picture. Wow. I'm gonna look into the bowl of white liquid and see what they're trying to show me.
Are there any entities here from Mercury?
Shelter. Okay, in the bowl I'm seeing like autumn trees, a lot of orange and red leaves falling.
What does the picture look like?
Weird.
She's saying words.
She is saying words.
Change the station.
Are there any visitors here from the
Join
sun?
us. Right now. Please.
Join who?
Worth the pain for some cheese. What?
Worth the pain for some cheese. Cheese is technically a fermented food. Who has some? Who has a word? Let's come up with a word of the week. Anybody, a word that we can all focus on and see if they'll respond.
A lot of like swirly visuals,
Two.
a lot of bright colors, very like hallucinatory, very like 70s like Yellow Submarine style
5.
art just being
Trap.
blended. It's weird.
Are there any entities here from Mars? Pizza, perfect. Oh, I think Kai got pajamas, but I saw pizza first, so I think we're going to go with pizza. You guys and food.
The places they'll take us.
Who will take us?
What I see is what I hear.
Fang. Like a tooth. Fang.
Are there any
Why?
entities here from Jupiter?
Fast car.
There's no use in counting.
Almost.
Keep your eyes on.
Keep your eyes on what?
Company.
Share.
Communicate.
Communicate.
Share.
Share. Are there any entities here from Venus? Do you want any Hershey kisses? Are there any lunar entities here from the moon?
They're so fluffy.
Rick.
Yeah, they do sound like Mercury entities with the sharing and communicating.
Do
What-
it.
What can you tell us
So
about
you see.
the planet you are from? Fluffy Rick. Fluffy cottonwood seeds. That's what makes me think of it. We got Rick.
As sweet as possible.
As sweet as possible. Hershey kisses. I also just pulled
Hello there.
Okay, first cycle is ended
sweet.
for this sound, so we're going into cycle 2 now.
Rick from the moon. I know that dude. Several mentions of face parts. Eyes, mouth, moving, fang. That's true.
Are you from around here?
Who?
It must be.
It helps.
She's one of them.
Who is one of them?
Would say so. Cheer, cheer, cheer.
Stop.
Do you gather to speak to us every week, or can you communicate from separate locations like we do?
Oh shit. This is very serious.
Why is it serious? Is there anything else you can tell us?
Where she was originally.
Where who was originally? And what's so serious?
Let's start soon.
What should we start soon?
Why is this? I'm here to play games.
Oh.
Yikes. What kind of games?
She should have never.
Who is she?
I keep seeing visuals of different people's faces, just different faces in general. People with one of their eyes open completely and one of their eyes closed completely. But they're holding that look. There's a certain color here. Artwork.
What kind of artwork?
Releases.
What's the color? Space pirates?
Where did you get that from?
Someone in the comments.
The texture. Why would you hide it?
You remember Ice Pirates?
Yeah, what's that?
That movie?
Uh-uh.
Oh.
She just takes longer.
Who takes longer?
She shouldn't go out when it's sunny.
X has been talking about a she a lot.
What else do you want to...
If she's talking to the moon too, the moon when
No.
it... Well, I guess the moon shows up when it's sunny, but it's like the kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
Is she getting a spicy one? Someone being a little...
Not really. Oh, yeah. Kai drew the maiden card.
She looks good.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Oh, a maiden would be the same. Artemis and moon.
Yeah. But also Persephone in a way.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
We're very curious about you. You have anything to tell us?
It's about what we can do.
What are you capable of?
Lactose intolerant space pirate. Yes.
Please come out to play.
Tonight? Is that you want to see us tonight? Bex chose the moon.
Delicious.
And the moon is made of green cheese.
You're right.
That's easy.
Are you a spirit from the moon? An entity from the moon?
I'm hearing a lot of shushing. A lot of shush. Like, shh. And I hear, this is weird, this is weird, this is weird. Oh, it just cycles just ended. Okay. I guess that's where we'll end it. Yeah.
Hush now, it's a secret.
Do you think the entities are is this like a new thing for them to be invited in? Are they getting used to it or something?
I don't know. I mean, I imagine it is a new thing for them to be like invited in as opposed to coerced.
Right.
What kind of snacks do they have on the moon? Cheese.
Well, isn't the moon arguably the Swiss cheese body?
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Really?
I have to sleep. Goodbye. Thank you for coming. Come again.
Yes.
We're here every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
Wow.
They didn't want us to find out the moon is a hologram. Yeah. I got some lunar vibes from Bex's experience this time for sure.
That's awesome. That's what I was that's what I had chosen in the ritual. It was so interesting how that ended because I heard a bunch of shushing. Like shh, like you know, like oh, what'd you say?
I think he had to go real quick.
Okay. You know how like if you like your phone goes off in the movie theater and you're just like hit with all of these hateful shushes and you're like, I'm sorry. You know? I'm sorry. You know? And so that's how I felt. I get all this, I was like, you know, they were like I had done something wrong. And then I heard someone say, that's weird, that's weird, that's weird, that's weird. And then the cycle changed. I was like, oh shit. Very trippy experience there at the end. You say lunar vibes, huh?
Yeah, I totally got some lunar vibes. There was one point you mentioned you were looking into like a round vessel of white, and it made, and like you were talking about like liquid, but it made me think of like the full moon, like a moon, like you were scrying into the moon.
Whoa. Yeah, it looked like one of those like kids crafts where they take like milk or something and like food coloring and they make little swirlies. So someone was doing that, but they weren't using food coloring containers. It just was coming out of their fingers, I guess, or whatever. But they were making like photographs out of that process. So yeah, in a way, that would just be like planetary scrying, huh?
That's amazing.
That is wild. Garrett, did you go under?
Yeah, I did. It was very weird. It was very quiet. I think I was on like AM or something. It was different, the sounding this time. And it was very brief clips. But I had trouble with it a little bit. But...
I gotcha.
I think Michelle Belanger and John Tenney both talked about that before, where something shuts a channel down. Yeah. That's us.
That's wild. Do they gather to speak to us every week, or can they communicate from separate locations like we do? That's a really good question. That's something that I'm super curious about too. I don't know. Excuse me, I'm getting the sleeps. I don't know what they wouldn't want us to find out, but I felt like I felt mega shushed.
Narrowed in on the vibe and they shut it down. Yeah. Well, you know what's going to happen. Did we ever go onto TikTok?
No. That's fine. I didn't have my sign ready or anything, so maybe it was meant to be.
Yeah.
I actually had it open. That's what's funny.
It would be really hard to communicate like the ritual thing.
That's what I was thinking. If it's a normal WUFO, I definitely see the merit in having that audience, but this is a lot of explaining, and
yeah,
I don't have enough letters for the board. But I'll try. Okay, so closing remarks here. Oh, I wanted to let everyone know that on Friday night, at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Oops, I just broke Ben. Katie and I are having our 4th episode of our show. Where it's just going to be us. We're going to be chilling. But we're going to be talking a lot about our last private session that we did, where she took me into the Telyard, like, dragon realm at the center of the earth. So we're going to talk about that. But then we're also going to.
I love how casual you just said that.
I know, right?
It's just like
astral travel. You can go
in the center of the earth with some dragons. You're just like, that was like, no, you didn't stumble on that at all. It was amazing.
I think it's the effects, the long-term effects of close contact with Katie Webb.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
I love it. I love
Just
it.
It's amazing.
So we're going to be doing that, and then we're actually going to be we're going to try to take all y'all with us who are joining us for the show. So that'll be cool. I think we're also going to be recording for a podcast on Friday around 3. One of our buddies.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you think he would mind if we shared, or should we wait?
I don't think he'd mind.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna be on a Rob show together. I had an interview with him a couple months ago. So yeah, we are gonna be on Rob Christopherson's podcast.
Our Strange Skies.
Strange Skies. I was trying to think of the time. Oh, it doesn't matter yet because that's just when we're recording.
Yeah, that's
I don't know when it'll post. Yeah, it's usually about a month ahead. I think is about the lead time he's working with.
Oh. Bye, Bex. What happened?
Accidentally clicked notification.
Okay. That was human error then.
It was definitely human error, but yeah, I forgot what I was saying.
We're talking about Rob's podcast, and I think we're going to be talking about like gnome, encounters
with UFOs. Yeah,
I've been seeing a lot of people talking about gnomes lately. That reminds me. I wonder if I have any more stickers. One of our Liminal Earth mascots for a while now has been our gnome friend here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have stuff on our Teespring with our friend here, but we are very pro gnome. Have been pro gnome for a long time, and we are going to officially speak on it on our Strange.
Yeah. But those darn sylphs, I don't want to hear a word about them.
Oh my goodness. I don't want to hear the M word come out of either of your guys' mouth ever again. That was lame. No, Jeremy was like, I could just now use my deck, and then we didn't actually.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, it's about that time. It's a little past 10. Gotta get to looking up. Gotta get to.
Right.
I want to know real quick how many people in the comments are going to be trying to put their entities or ask entities come in their jars. And if you could just say in the comments if you plan on doing that, or maybe next week. And then I'm just curious, if you do it, I love to see pictures of what your little setup.
Yeah.
So please tag us. Use WUFO, WUFO. We want to see it.
Absolutely.
Yep. Oh, I wanted to address what Brian was talking about really quick in the comments here. It's really interesting when an entity shuts down a session. The only other time I've had that happen was at this cemetery near here on the peninsula, and it was the first time I also had a visual while under an Estes, and it was back when I was still using SB7. But I was in this graveyard, just me and my friend, and it was past midnight, and we were doing an Estes, and I was under, and I was having so much chatter, and there was a lot of just loose names, a lot of loose, personal details, it seemed like. And then all of a sudden I saw this really older white male with a white buzz cut, but he had milky eyes, and he just got into my face and then left. It was bizarre. He was just that kind of thing. And then the spirit box went silent. It went silent. And at the same exact time, my friend tapped me and pulled me out, and she was like, I don't like the feel of this place right now. You can't be under right now. This is too creepy.
I don't like that.
I just saw something creepy. Yeah, I felt like that was maybe some sort of overseer of that plot, and it somehow stopped all of the other spirits from communicating. It was very weird.
Wow.
Sounds like Brian has had very similar experiences. Yeah, it has happened. Doesn't happen a lot, but I would love to hear your guys' experiences if you have as well. Thanks for sharing that, Brian.
Sarah says, I'm planning for next week or maybe earlier. I felt off the last couple days. I don't think anything is going to want to come hang out. That's actually, I think that's like a cool way to look at this stuff. Is like, don't just do it, because you don't want to impose on these entities or spirits that, you know, are going to, that you want to come and hang out with you. Like, I wouldn't, like, if I was homesick, I wouldn't ask people to come hang out with me. It would suck for them.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
I think that the idea, like, oh, I'm not in a space to do this right now, is actually more respectful of the entities that you're trying to communicate with.
Absolutely. Approaching it with with that mentality is I like that. Yeah.
You know, Garrett, right before you like came out, you actually said stop like really hard. Do you remember that?
I know. Yeah, I the thing stopped and then I heard stop, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like the light show stopped, and I know that if I do the light show twice, it'll go too long, so I just decided to stop early. Plus, it was not working. I mean, it was just very faint. It felt like. So, I don't know.
More experimentation needed.
I know. Keep trying. I'm glad that we have all these people here to watch us experiment with that.
Well, I'm sitting here. I had this haul of UFO contactee books at the used bookstore this past week.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And I'm sitting here and I'm like, the stuff that we do and that we did tonight, and like comparing it to this.
That's amazing.
Like how much fun are we having here? This is preparing for contact.
Are we doing
like, yeah, just toss some pine cones in a cup and a cup of water with
some sprinkles.
With cake sprinkles. It's beautiful.
You should recreate that picture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Who would be?
What's to boop eyeballs with me?
That's definitely the best picture. The other ones are like, so there's this one.
Ooh.
He's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Nick.
This has like alien. This book apparently has alien zoos and the alien clown connection in it.
I don't want to know anything about that connection. Thank you very much.
But it's also got UFOs over graveyards
That's cool.
and the intimidation and murder of UFO witnesses.
Oh. That sounds like some stuff the Maury Island guys would like.
Yeah, but I've never heard of. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to look.
Wow, that is a wild book. I can't wait to hear more about that.
I mean, oh yeah. And then the only other one that of note, I think this was interesting. We the Arcturians, because we talked about that story on our map of Mr. Arcturian.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
And so I'm wondering if this is like part of that whole thing.
Are they related to Arcturus? Are they from?
I think that's the idea. Yeah.
Oh,
Stuff.
go ahead.
I don't know if you can see it.
I keep seeing mentions of grave honey. What?
The old
did I
and
miss
new
the significance
chambers.
Sorry.
Well, isn't the grave honey thing that like Greg Newkirk did?
Oh, I don't know. I keep seeing it in the comments. I'm like, why are people bringing up grave honey?
Because we put honey in the shrub.
Oh, I see.
And then the Greg did that thing on Kindred Spirits, I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay.
Was that what Michelle Belanger was making? Am I right? Wrong? Thinking of something different?
I don't know. I'll have to see what you're referencing as far as what she's making. I know that it was Kindred Spirits. Yeah, I didn't see what Michelle was making.
Next t-shirt, who wants to boop eyeballs with me? Totally.
Awesome. Oh, I wanted you guys to know that I'm making a very short little flip book, and it's gonna be Katie Webb quotes. There's so many, and I'm like, dude, you gotta stop saying shit that's so funny. It belongs.
Incense. Okay. Incense is what I was thinking of, though.
Incense. Yeah. Oh, I saw that. That was so cool. I love handmaidens so much. It's one of my things. One more look at this monster before I dehydrate him.
Yes. And can we see your bottles one more time?
Mm-hmm. Show them off, y'all.
Mine's turned like golden from the honey.
Mine's very cloudy already. The UFO water was sitting out. I set it out for 4 weeks in a row. I didn't touch it. I
Wow.
moved it in and out. So what will it do? What will it do? Make sure to set them out somewhere safe. Jeremy has like a full-on fermentation station happening in his countertop. So create a little space. Make sure you can have some eyes on it. Because I keep thinking to myself, I'm just going to leave it on the desk. No. I'm going to see it somewhere I can walk by and check on it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, invite those entities in. You'll be glad you did.
Yep. Okay. Well, I think I'm about ready to hop on off here. What about you guys?
Yeah, I want to go see if I can spot another UFO outside.
Yeah, you know, it's raining here now again.
Oh,
shoot.
I've had such bad luck with the sky for the past few weeks.
It's been clear here almost every night except tonight.
Yeah, it's just you guys are just across the sound, but that actually makes sense. I mean, it happens. So
yeah,
weird.
like I feel like very often we have completely different cloud cover situations. We are just like a hop away.
That's true. All right. Well, it has been lovely.
Alrighty, guys.
Yeah.
This was a special one. This was a really special one.
Yeah,
that was really intimate and fun, and I can't wait to hear what everyone else's experience are like.
Yeah, me too. Cool. Maybe next week we'll have a guest again.
Yeah, we'll probably.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, until then, this has been week 20 of WUFO. Thanks everyone for the support. We love you. Go look up. Bye, guys.
Bye.